Alright, what is going on, guys? This is Brian from Quantum Motorworks, bringing you another late night tutorial. So right here in front of us we have a 1991 Honda Z50. Thing's pretty mint, has some modifications to it, but overall kind of stock. And so the issue the customer brought it in for is basically, well, couldn't get it to really start. But the main issue was the kickstart assembly. When he kicked the bike, the kickstarter was kind of locking up or getting stuck. And he was also saying that, when you put the bike in gear and pulling the clutch, it doesn't really move. So I noticed, took off the cable, kind of pulled the mechanism up. It seemed like it was kind of biting quite a bit, but then it kind of freed up, but then it kind of would grab. So I'm not sure exactly what was going on there. So I took off the whole clutch basket assembly, and you can see here the idler gear or transfer gear. This is where the clutch basket would go, and then this is the driven gear for the transmission. So the issue that I was having or noticing was, even with this is the Kickstarter shaft right here, Kickstarter spindle, with this mechanism here, with the spring, and where else is it, and this cam lock right here, even with these components, they're perfectly fine. There's no damage to the teeth or the surfaces, but even with these components installed and correctly lined up, the shaft still kind of gets stuck. So looking at the parts diagram, I don't really work on these too much, but they're pretty much all the same, like the Chinese bikes, which I do have a little bit more experience in motor teardowns. But basically there's like a set there's another gear on the inside, which actually drives the transmission, and then that's what drives the crankshaft to kick over the bike. And then there's also a set of like not splines, but like almost like grooves on the end of the shaft. So I'm almost thinking maybe something's worn out there, or something came apart. But it does spin pretty freely, which, I don't know, I'll have to put a little bit more, maybe I'll try it one more time before I go ahead and make my diagnosis on it. But that's pretty much the two concerns here. Maybe you guys got them. So now we're going to go ahead and take a look at the clutch basket. Okay, so to take apart the clutch basket, inspect your friction and drive plates, or friction and steel plates. Pretty easy. I'm using a 1 1/4 quarter socket, and basically a bench vise, a block of wood on this side. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to compress the 4 springs that are in the inside. It's kind of like a diaphragm spring, but not really it's not a diaphragm spring, it's 4 individual springs. Then we can go ahead and remove that snap ring that's in place right there. So let's go ahead and drive this thing just enough to take pressure off the spring, which that should be enough right there. You can see there's a nice little gap, and then we'll just kind of use the pick to pull it out like that. You can kind of back this off carefully, and you want to catch your